So we are out here, this is Josh Sigurdson by the way, we are out here in front of the Manitoba Legislative Building giving Greggy Boy, as in Greg Selinger, Premier of Manitoba, a good farewell. He's going to probably, I'm going to guess, there's a 2 in 100 chance that he's going to win tomorrow, but the point is he is going to be out after all these years, from his time as finance minister from 1999 going to 2011 as a premier of Manitoba, with 11,000 children in care, 90% are First Nations. This is a disgrace, and that's just a beginning. That's just the tip of the iceberg. With his over-the-top taxation, with the debt accumulation of $21 billion in this province, and that's just a provincial debt. We've got a huge problem here, and it's not going to end with the change of Greg Selinger to whoever's next, and I'm going to assume it is Brian Pallister. It's not going to change, but things are getting a little bit better, and we're seeing people come together and actually vote out a complete tyrant. This man has ruined the lives of thousands of people. And, you know, he deserves much worse than what I got here today, but I'm trying to be civil here. I hope that he's watching this and a tear comes down his face if he has any emotions whatsoever after destroying the lives of thousands of children, destroying the lives of thousands of parents. He's a disgrace to the human race, if you can even call him human. From Crocus, where thousands of lives were destroyed or partially ruined through that practice, when he covered that up and he claimed that he had nothing to do with that. Well, we've shown videos on Wham of some of the letters that he has signed, some of the documents that he has signed. He was damn well aware of what was going on. When it comes to the tiger dams, giving deals to his buddies, look, we've got probably a list of about 1,000 different things wrong that he's done. The point is that he is a coercive fool who has, for the last, since 2011 and before that as finance minister, has stepped on the backs of the individual and stepped on the backs of the individual liberties in this province. And you know what? We're sick of it. We've confronted him. We were nice at first, going back to 2013, 2014. We were kind enough to be politely asking him some questions. He didn't want to listen. He threw a bunch of BS at us about, well, we're working on this, we're doing what we can, blah, 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 blah. Well, I believed that he was working on things, and by that I mean he was working on making them worse. This is a man that should be in prison, but we're going nice and easy on him today by just saying, bye-bye, Greg Selinger. We're celebrating. We've got little party horns, we got sparklers, and we got ice cream. I just want to rub in his wounds a little bit here because he's a terrible human being and should be in prison, and instead he's going to get a nice big retirement package. He's going to be living well for the rest of his life, while thousands of parents and thousands of children, their lives are ruined.
I'm pretty sure his severance package is going to be more money than I've made in the last 5 or 6 years.
And besides that, money or not, I would hope that he's living a very sad life on that stack of money that he has, because considering the fact that we're looking at CFS is the #1 issue, I believe, that he has been involved in destroying the lives of people through, which is that if there's 11,000 children in care, 90% are First Nations, and only 11.1% of the province's population are First Nations, and that is that's obviously not a coincidence. And through putting children in hotels alongside Carrie Irvin Ross, Andrew Swan, Jennifer Howard, putting them in hotels, putting them in terrible, neglectful environments where they were around gang members, drugs, alcohol, we see a 60% rate of children in CFS care becoming adults and ending up homeless. 75% of missing and murdered in this city, in this province, came through the CFS system. That's not a problem, then what the hell is? This is disgusting. How could we stand for this? I mean, it's kind of sad that we've waited till the election to do something about this. Think about that. We honestly just sat there and waited for the election. I know a lot of really good people did what they could. They stood up, they searched for their children, they put together their own vigilante crews to go out there and try and find answers, to question politicians, to hold people accountable. And you know, I have to commend those good people that have come out and done those kinds of things and have actually taken action into their own hands, because we can't wait for politicians to do everything for us. It's up to us as individuals, and the NDP has completely lost sight of the individual. They don't care about the individual, they care about themselves, their power, their ability to do whatever they want at a coercive level, and completely forget about the individual, the person living in these cities, these towns, on the reserves, out in the rural areas. They don't care. Government doesn't care. And Brian Pallister, he doesn't care either. Neither does Rana. Neither do any of these parties. But you know what's really good to see is people as individuals coming out and showing their action and putting those words into action and actually doing something. Because that's what we need. We need individuals coming out and doing what they can as individuals. We can't wait for other people to do things for us. Look what happened with the NDP. It's a disaster. This is one of the worst disasters to ever hit this province, and that's saying a lot, because this province has been through a lot of disasters. Bye-bye, Greggy boy. I look forward to seeing you in hell.
Well, the reason why I don't want Selinger around is because I've grown up in a hardcore socialist country called Norway, and for the last, about 20-something years, we've seen an increase of taxes. Even when I grown up, he paid about 50% of my money to about 70-80%. We got top income tax at 51%, and then we have our GST, PST is 25%. Let's see what else. Gas tax is about 90% of the price of gas. And then of course we do have a lot of controls that they put up, which is we talk about red light boxes. Well, in Norway we got average speed boxes on the highways, if you're interested in that, or you can just have the MPI come and do your road checks all the time on you to make sure your car is functioning properly. You know, government's got to take care of you, and I really love the government. That's one of the main reasons actually why I came here. I'm being sarcastic, but we just need to stop big gigantic government of taking roots in our world, and we just need to change things and have a government which believes in individualism and protecting individual rights, but also a government that can run on very little money. We don't need a whole bunch of money to run a government. It's effective. So
Nice.
I'm fed up with the gigantic socialist governments. I come from one of the biggest ones in the world. So if you want to debate me on I know a lot of NDPers, they love to say that, well, look to Norway. Well, I say, why don't you come and ask me some questions about Norway, and I'll teach you what's going on in Norway.
It'd be nice to see Selinger go. He just seems to care about the economy. Doesn't even care about himself, his future. He's not aware of pastawin is a Greek term for what goes around comes around. He needs to go to charm school. He really needs to go to charm school. He cares about the economy and no spirit. He doesn't bring any spirit. Doesn't care about the water, the land, the women, the children, families. He just seems to like to profit off our pain, fracturing our families, taking our children, and just he seems to be creating a job force for, at our expense, at our children's expense. And we wonder why our children are on a homicidal rates today. We wonder why our children are suicidal today, because of no stability, because of Craig Selinger and his CFS. I'm glad he's not my son. I'm glad I didn't give birth to Craig Selinger. And he freaking lied about the PST. He said he was never ever going to increase the PST. Mm-hmm. I have a 17-year-old, the 16, she's going to be 17. She hasn't been in school in over a month because I can't afford to send her to school on a fixed income. I can't afford bus fare for her. And with all our missing and murdered women, her being an Aboriginal girl, I'm scared to send her to school. I can't afford to send her to school since this PST hike. It's just been... I feel we really lack.
It's hit from all sides.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to come out here and celebrate the impending end of Greg's reign. It's not final yet, obviously, but it's looking like there's very, very little chance that he'll still be the premier a few days from now. And I say, whatever the replacement might be, let's celebrate the fact that Greg is gone, because the guy is a liar and a crook, and his arrogant, condescending attitude is something that I think we're all extremely tired of. I can't even believe the amount of scandal and corruption surrounding this guy. Where do you even start with Greg Selinger? I mean, the Crocus scandal, all these untendered contracts, you know, putting more kids in CFS care, mostly Aboriginal children, than anywhere else in the country, while, you know, claiming to be these progressive people at the NDP. And, you know, the fact that what I'm probably most bothered by is the fact that they seem outraged when anyone asks for any kind of accountability for anything that the NDP as a provincial government has done for the past 17 years. You ask them a question and they act like you're some disruptive pleb. They act like you're, you know, some kind of crazy person for wanting to, you know why they've been doing the things they've been doing to destroy so many people's lives in Manitoba. It's just over the top. I can't believe the desperate last-ditch efforts from the NDP to cling to power that we've seen in the last week or so, and the hilariously dumb attacks they've been making on Pallister. I mean, I'm no fan of Pallister, but you know, the big scandal we saw trotted out on Friday all over the CBC where, oh, where was Brian Pallister when the 2014 flood happened? You know, where was the leader of the opposition when the flood happened? Meanwhile, you know, Greg Selinger was the premier of Manitoba at the time when that flood happened and handled it terribly, not to mention the 2011 flood, which left people homeless in places like Lake St. Martin who are still not back in their homes. I've actually met some of these people in the past year who've been homeless and, you know, couch surfing around Winnipeg, staying with family where they can. They're in dire straits and they still haven't been able to go back to their community. And where is Greg on that? Where is the province on that? You know, they promised to get people back in their homes. There's a lot of, you know, people who, it's depending on how you view how the flood was handled back in 2011, a lot of people would say that it was actually the province's mishandling of the flood protection measures that should have been in place that caused those communities to be flooded in the first place. And, you know, they're still not rebuilt 5 years later. Nothing's been done for most of these people, and we're supposed to be worried about the fact that Brian Pallister was on a vacation at the time. It's just this attitude that nothing at all that happens under the NDP's watch is their fault. If you question anything they say, you must be a horrible right-wing bigot. You know, if you question any of their actions or want any sort of accountability from them, you're a horrible person. I'm really, really tired of this attitude. I'm tired of a government that's so corrupt and not accountable at all to the people and just spits in our faces day after day. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing Greg gone. You know, where was Brian Pallister in 2014 during the flood? Why was he on a vacation? Well, Greg, why did your government give out about 60 untendered contracts to your favorite security company to handle all the security for the flood areas, and then threaten the RMs that didn't want to use that security company that you just gave a sweetheart deal to? There's one question for you about something real. You know, where were you on all these children getting taken away from their families that you claim to care about so much? You know, everything with the NDP is for families. What were you doing? So I'm really glad to see Greg go. Bye, Greg.
Bye, Greg.
Bye, Greg.
Later.
Adios.
Na, 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 na. Hey, hey. Goodbye.